Hello and welcome to the show. Great cafes are not determined by just the beauty of their latte art or the swiftness of the food and drink. In my opinion, great cafes are made by great people and great customers that come here and want to build something towards improving their community. I'm lucky to be joined in one of the great cafes, bRU Café in North Bondi, and by the beautiful owner, Sondra. Welcome.
Thanks, Hamish.
Welcome.
So
How are
nice
you?
of you? Good. I'm really good. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm all right. I apologise in advance for starting this in the most British way possible, but how do we not talk about the weather today?
We need it.
After months of droughts and fires, you can't hear it or see it.
Yes, no.
We've had torrential rain since 4 a.m.
Yes.
It's now.
However, 21 fires have been put out.
21 fires today.
21 fires overnight are out.
Oh my word!
So that's
how many have we got left?
I don't know. I haven't been home yet, so I'll watch the news tonight and tell you.
It's been a mad few weeks.
Yeah, but it's good.
Now, to give us a little context, we met in September 2018 when you kindly gave me a job and welcomed me into the bRU family. And I think the thing that first struck me about this cafe, which was different to any other, was the sort of mad relationship and atmosphere that you built with your locals.
Yeah,
you know, everyone that comes in here, the dogs are welcome to help themselves to free treats. Yeah. The kids are picked up by the baristas who babysit them in their spare time.
Yes, they do.
This is, for those that aren't watching, a tiny space, but people are more than happy to queue up in the street. Everyone's chatty, everyone's friendly.
Yeah, definitely.
So I guess where I want to start is when did you set this up and why? Because obviously Australia and Sydney have got such a mad coffee culture. You know, we're within walking distance of a dozen just here. So yeah, why did you start and why here?
Well, firstly, I didn't start it.
Yep.
I didn't start it. Adam and Ruby started bRU Coffee, and I think it's actually that was her nickname, bRU, and that's how bRU came the name. I actually came into it with Tony and Kirsten, and Tony was one of my best friends. So Tony, and I've had a family that's been in hospitality for a really long time, and that was one thing I thought I'd never do, was hospitality. But here I am, doing hospitality. And Tony wanted a business partner that worked in the business. And at the time I'd had, I think, 20 odd years of corporate work under me. And I was ready for a change, and I didn't even think about it. I just went, yep, let's do it. And that was 6 years ago. Tony and Kirst did a bit of a sea change. They went off to Adelaide with their son. Their families are from down there. So for the past 2 years, it's been me, and I love it. I absolutely love it. It is really, this is a family. It's a family. I love it.
I guess we're like a North Bondi, which I guess the reputation it's got in comparison to the Junction or South Bondi is this is more residential, this is more local, there's less sort of hostels and travellers.
and less transient, I'd say. Exactly. That's probably the biggest thing. It's definitely families, we have locals, and for me, like, this is a perfect day, let's say today, absolutely pouring, one of the worst days we've had for a long time, but it's the locals that keep you going. So if I didn't have the locals, I may as well close my doors in winter. Yeah. You know, but it's the locals that keep coming back on a horrible day like this, and you know, you close early and they keep coming in. So yeah, it's definitely the locals.
Well, I remember the first impression I got working here was that everyone knew every customer's name and all of their orders. So basically, if somebody walks in, doesn't say anything, their food arrives, their drink arrives, they leave. So what's going on? I'm meant to be taking these orders.
We just grunt at each other.
Yeah, exactly.
We just grunt, and then totally not. But you know what's really lovely is a lot of people have actually met here. So we've got a group of mums that met coming here. Yeah. Which has been amazing. Yeah.
I'm not surprised by that. Yeah.
It's been really cool. That way.
Yeah. So, there's a lot to unpack. I think the first thing that we bonded over was talking about charity work. Yeah. I've done lots of stuff in Mankinis, which you found funny. Yes. And I was able to visit you here in the Mankini during the seat to serve.
Yes, I saw it firsthand.
And you, sorry, I put a lot of people off their food that day up here. And then you do an enormous amount for your local community and environmental causes and all sorts of stuff. So let's start with, what is it about Waverley Council garbage trucks that have made your face famous in the area? How has that come about?
Okay. We are essentially, our DA is a takeaway cafe.
Yes.
So obviously, you know, in the last, I don't know, probably 5 years, really, that whole movement of coffee cups, you know, the environment, the impact, all of that. And, you know, you read it all the time. And I was watching every coffee cup walking out this door just thinking, surely I'm not one of those cafes. And everywhere you read, it was very much cafes that made most of the impact through their coffee cups.
2.7 million a day get thrown away.
Oh God! And that's the other thing. We have now we have compostable cups, and we have a compostable bin as well that all our cups go into. But anyway, and I really sat there wondering, how can I stop all these coffee cups going out the door? And yes, there were people definitely then getting onto the bandwagon of the keepy cups, but a lot of people just forgot or just didn't do it. So hence the cup exchange. So I thought I can give people cups to take away. And most, like you said just a minute ago, most of our customers are local. So it's not like they've got any excuse to not walk away with a cup, because they're not going very far anyway. So
this is a proper mug.
This is a proper mug, a cup, a pick, or whatever it is. But and really, it's funny. The Waverley Council actually called a couple of weeks ago and want to do a study. And one of the studies is the impact of the coffee cup, the exchange library. And the one thing, she asked me what the biggest change was that I noticed. And the biggest change that I've noticed is that a lot of people now aren't actually bringing keepy cups, the expensive keepy cups. They're actually bringing their own mugs, because they're now used to having a mug from bRU. So that's how it came about. They called and said, how's it going? We've heard that you're doing this. We're doing something different with our garbage trucks. Would you be open to? And there I am on the garbage truck.
So you did a photo shoot, and you are now blown up, enormous, on the side of seemingly every truck I see. I see your face every day as I come in here.
Same. I don't think I am on every truck, but I'm on quite a few of the trucks. So which is really cool.
It's amazing.
And
and what are, so I saw on your Instagram there are the rules of the mug library.
Yes.
So what are the rules?
The rules of the mug library really is you take the cup and you bring the cup back.
Yes.
That doesn't happen very often. Or take the cup of the mug and bring another one back that you're not using.
Yep.
But what we do get is a lot of people take a cup, they take another one the next day, and obviously it keeps going. And then, like we had last week, we had 2 boxes of mugs returned. So they do come back, or we get new ones. But that's the idea. You take a mug, you bring one back.
And do you get a discount on your coffee if you bring?
No, we don't. We don't do that. And the reason we don't do that is because I believe we make an awesome coffee, and I don't believe in discounting our amazing coffee.
Yeah.
And I'd like to think that people just do it because they should do it. Yeah. They should do it.
And what I saw happen is actually some of your locals even get attached to mugs. So they're living if somebody else has taken their favourite one, they come rummaging around.
The in-joke is, and I've done this with quite a few people, they come in, they rummage through the what is it, the library, I guess, and they're rummaging through and they'll say, where's my cup? And I always say, none of these cups are yours, they're actually all mine. So that's the joke, that's the sort of running joke. But yes, so people absolutely get attached, and so do the kids. The kids get really attached to the cup that they like.
Yeah.
So, and we actually up there, we have someone a little 5-year-old girl, Aaliyah, who keeps her cup there.
Oh, beautiful.
So that's her cup.
Yeah.
And this is great. It's a 5-year-old who now has her cup here. She never gets a takeaway. It's great.
I think everyone prefers to drink out of proper cups of handles as well. It's sort of cosier and more homely.
Get your hand around
but
it.
every cafe's got tiny ones that are pretty and Instagrammable. All that. And actually, everyone would rather have a big, ugly mug.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And it's great.
And what I like about it is that has evolved.
Yes.
You've always been straw-free. I've always noticed that.
Yes.
Then you have the cup library.
Yeah.
And now that's evolved even further. You've gone like, how else can we...
Well, just on another note, really quickly, what I like about it as well is if I do run low on the cups, I go and get it from St. Vinny's. So do you know what I mean? It just gives back again. So I go down to St. Vinny's, pick out a few cups. So we're kind of giving back again, which is nice.
It's great.
Yeah. So
then,
sorry.
yeah, so from there,
Yep.
you've then now got a compost bin, so you get less food waste.
Yes, and our cups, any takeaway cups, because look, at the end of the day, I can't see that we'll ever get rid of them totally. People are always going to...
Yeah.
So we now have compostable cups. So if someone does have their coffee here and doesn't want a mug, which, you know, I'd prefer if they didn't, but if they do have it here, I always say to people, if you're going to sit here and have it, make sure that you put it in our bin, because our bin is a compostable bin, and that way you're not walking out with it and just throwing it in any bin, because then it obviously won't go to compost, whereas if they're here it will.
Yeah.
So,
So we're getting rid of less food waste, compostable things, straws.
Straws,
is the big one.
Yep.
Cups we're not thrown away.
Yep.
Then you've got the milk juggler.
The milk juggler.
Which is a brilliant name. In my head, I read milk juggler. I was like, who is juggling milk crates in the back of some sort of weird entertainment? It's already a small space and you have room for a juggler.
How does she do it in such a small space?
So a milk juggler, in essence, is milk on tap to get rid of milk bottles.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yes.
That
took a good 9 months of actually getting that in, because I got a government grant from the EPA.
Oh, they support that? That's great.
So they supported that. So they come in and they obviously look at your invoices, the amount of milk that you go through, they go through the Waverley Council, you know, bin collection, all that kind of stuff. And that took, about 9 months to finally get it through, and we've got it. So it's awesome. So now we have milk on tap rather than those horrible plastic... which we would have gone through at least, for a small space like this in summer, there are days when we would go through, so in every single crate there is nine bottles. You'd go at least through 2 or 3 of those of full cream, and then you'd go at least through 1 or 2 of skim. So you're talking about 40. It's just insane.
Crazy.
Insane.
And then from there, you're going, okay, well, we have to use some bottles, and some of those have plastic lids.
Yes.
And now this is probably my favourite thing I've ever seen any cafe do. That looks like, for those that can't see it, there is a tube behind me, a sort of test tube, full of milk lids, plastic lids.
Yep.
What is the connection between plastic lids and prosthetic hands?
Yes, so 500 lids makes 1 prosthetic hand. And we'd definitely do that. So it's Envision Hands who do it. Initially we were collecting it for the North Bondi Public School, because the kids were all aware of it. So they used to come in and ask us for the bag loads of it. And then they stopped for some reason, I'm not sure why, and then I did a bit of research, and Envision Hands is still doing it. And I get enough of them, and then I fill up a box and courier it off to Envision Hands. And but 500 lids makes 1 prosthetic hand, which is really cool.
And have you already got 500 lids? Have you reached that?
Oh God, I've already sent a whole box.
Oh really?
Yeah, totally. We're on to our second box.
Oh, that's incredible. I want to see one of these hands. That sounds amazing.
You can look it up. Envision Hands.
Envision Hands. Remember that. And then what I really want to know is, this is a tiny space that has got so much heart, and you're so conscious of environmental impacts. How can we reduce waste? And I kind of think, why isn't every cafe doing this? Why isn't every cafe got a mug library, got a milk juggler? It doesn't take a lot to go to Vinnie's and buy those mugs.
No, not at all.
Have you spoken to other cafe owners about it? The first time I heard about the mug library, I immediately rung up 2 friends of mine who own cafes in England and said, why have I never seen this? Why isn't this everywhere? It's so easy to do. Yeah,
it's so easy. It really is easy. It's really easy. Why don't they do it? I don't know. Look, for me, the biggest thing that started me on the journey, yes, you hear about it all the time, but every day, most days, I walk down the road, because I park my car at Bondi, and I look out and look at what I see, and we're forever talking about and seeing these horrible photos of plastic and crap that goes into the ocean, and that's on my doorstep. We've got, one of the most, I believe, beautiful beaches in the world, but sure, it's not the Whitsundays and all, but this is a city beach. We are 8 kilometres away from not one of, but the biggest cities in Australia, with 5 million people, and we have a beach, one of the most famous beaches in the world. Everyone comes to visit Bondi when they come to, and they say, oh, we've been to Australia when they come to Bondi. Why not yeah, why not do something? And I believe every little bit helps. And I've heard people say, oh, what difference am I going to make?
Yeah.
I think, well, you do. If we all thought that, then we wouldn't have that for very long. That would be gone. It really would. And that just, when I see photos or videos, and I can't remember where, but it might be somewhere in Hawaii, and a lady on a paddle board, and she's paddle boarding through. Oh my God!
It gets you.
Yeah, it does, because that's.
And I think a lot of people that will maybe run cafes or businesses will say, oh, we can be more environmentally friendly, but as soon as it starts costing them money, then they go, oh, it's costing our profits, or, we'll have to make cuts.
But I'm not using as many cups now.
Well, exactly. And, if you invest it wisely, you can save.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, I understand why businesses would be worried about income. That's fine.
Yeah.
Which makes me all the more proud to know you, to do with the way you spent Christmas Day. So Christmas Day here was
insane.
I didn't get to experience it myself, but from all accounts, an incredibly special day. You opened for 2 hours, from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m.
Yeah.
And every single penny that you made, you donated to charities.
Yes,
Tell us a little bit about that day, the atmosphere that day, and the 2 charities that you supported.
Look, it started off with Christmas Day. I knew that I was going to come in and make my own chai. I make it every day.
Yeah.
So I thought, maybe what I'll do is just for a couple of the locals, I'll let them know that, come in for a sneaky, and I'll make, because once someone sees you in here, then, everyone comes in. So that's how it started. And then a few more people said, oh, I heard you were going to be open. And then I kind of thought, okay, you know what? I am going to open. I'm going to open for 2 hours, which ended up being close to 3 hours. And if I'm going to do it, let's do it. I'm going to ask a couple of the staff if they're happy to work. I'll work, and let's just donate. And just around that time, the 2 fathers and firemen had lost their life fighting fires. And I thought, I'm going to donate to them. So we did oh God, I'm going to kill me now. The O'Dwyer and...
Ketona?
Keaton and O'Dwyer Fund. So we raised 2,400, 2,700, I think it was. And what I did was $2,000 to the Keaton and O'Dwyer Fund, and I did $700 to Wires. Yeah. Because how do you not?
And they're wildlife.
Yeah, wildlife. Yeah, and look, a lot of people at the time were talking about the koalas, but I thought, but I love my koala, love anything that's 4-legged. Mm-hmm. But I thought, there's kangaroos, there's wombats, there's so many animals that were being affected, and I thought, oh, Wise at least does all of them. Mm-hmm. And so we did that, and look, I saw such an amazing side of humanity that day. There were a lot of people that did, and I did let people know that we were doing cash only that day, because all that money was going to I guess, a charity. And there were people that didn't know that would come in, and I'd go, I'm so sorry, but no card. And someone either in front or behind would say, no, I'll get it. I'll get it. Because they'd say, I've got no cash. Yeah. And they were just throwing wads of money into this bowl, and it was really lovely. Incredible. And it was insane. I mean, it was just insane. People were chatting to people, and look, and I always say that that's what's special about bRU. People tend to talk to each other just because they're standing around. So there's no table, so it just happens naturally, and it was amazing. It was amazing. People were waiting for 40 to 50 minutes for a coffee, and they just didn't care. People were throwing $50 notes in, and it was just really humbling. It really was. We just left on a high.
Well, it's so special what you've built here. To think that people are willing to spend 50 minutes waiting for a coffee on Christmas Day,
and $50.
Exactly,
for one coffee.
And paying for strangers' coffees.
Yeah, totally.
Just unbelievable.
Really
do you think that's something you'll try and do every Christmas now?
Yes. We actually walked away saying that what we'd like to do now is maybe on Christmas Day is choosing a different charity, because people believe in different things and want to donate to other different things. So we might just ask a staff member to choose a charity, and we'll just open for 2 hours and do exactly the same again. So we'll just do that every year now. Because like I said, I would come in anyway to make my own. Why not?
Did you make your own? Do you make yours first, or did you wait until 55
Oh,
minutes?
no, we got in early and we made our own first
Good.
so that we're ready, and we were. And off we went.
And then, looking forward, weekend of the 15th and 16th of February, which, as we're recording this, is this coming weekend.
Coming weekend, yes.
Another massive weekend plan
huge.
for you. So it is what's called the Bondi Gives Back weekend.
Yeah.
So what does that involve? What part are you playing in it, and what can people come to the cafe and see?
So again, I'd noticed that a lot of us were doing our own individual thing, and I thought it'd be really cool if we did it as a community, because that's what I believe we are here. Got talking to, the first one I called was Jane from Gertrude and Alice, who we get on really well, and thought it'd be really cool if we got a few people together and see if we could actually do a weekend of something where Bondi does something. So we came up with, obviously, Bondi Gives Back. What we, again, don't have time to do is, you know, one of us run everybody and to decide what we're going to do. I thought, why don't we just all individually do our own thing, because we've got our own customer base and we've got different things we can all do, and obviously we're not all cafes either. There's, you know, hair salons, there's beauty salons, Sage is doing something, Rock is doing, and we're all very different. So I thought it'd be really cool if we all just did something and chose a weekend. For us, one of our amazing customers is Donna Hay. And so Donna Hay on the Saturday is going to be making chocolate dipped ganache, some amazing lamingtons, but we're calling them glamingtons.
Good.
So we're going to be selling those, and again it'll be free coffee. So again, Little Marionette, I approached them, our coffee suppliers, and asked them for a box of, I couldn't do another Christmas where I just don't make anything. So I asked them to donate us a box of coffee, and they've agreed, which is great. So coffee will be free on Saturday, and the lamington or the glamington will be $20 because it's a big lamington. It's not sort of one of the small ones. So we're actually spending the day with Donna on this coming Friday, dipping all these amazing lamingtons. And so that's Saturday. And then Sunday we've got, again, one of our customers is a fireman, and we thought what we do is get a fire truck, because we get a lot of mums and their bubs. And we thought it'd be really cool to park the fire truck out the front.
And they do the photos and
photos, and I'm going to have a little bit of music and just donate some money, and hopefully we'll make some money.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and we're doing it actually through Lions and Lions Australia. So that's where the money will be going. And the reason we chose them was because 100% will go to a community, and that's what we get to choose which community it goes to, and it's businesses. So that's where the money's going to go. So. And
is it specifically bushfire affected areas?
Yes, absolutely. Right.
Yeah,
no, definitely. And I guess as businesses, we believe we are the backbone of communities. This is where they come together. So we thought, let's choose a community and let's choose their businesses, and we'll just help it. And the idea is actually, and we're hoping this does happen, we spoke to Lions. They might be able to facilitate a bus in a year's time. For us to then, a few of us that did do this on the weekend, is travel down there and see how we and stay the weekend.
Yes.
And do stuff while we're there, and also see what we've done.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, which would be really cool.
That'd be great.
So I think you're doing that.
Well done. Yeah. Well done. Now, where can people find you? Obviously, you've got Instagram.
Yeah, so we're on Instagram. There's an Instagram page called Bondi_gives_back. So Bondi Gives Back. And that'll show all the businesses that are doing different things. You can also look on Facebook. There's a Facebook page called Bondi Gives Back as well. And just on individual pages. But also every cafe that has a Bondi Gives Back poster. And they've got a little thing saying what they're doing. So look for those. And all the money that, will go to charity.
It's brilliant. Yeah. And people should come in and they should see you, and
they
should
buy
coffee
buy coffee, buy a lamington, go and have a facial, go and find these posters, and because everywhere that has this poster will be giving something away. I know that Brown Sugar, all their coffee all weekend is also free. So, you know, people are really, putting their necks out, and, you know, it's been a tough time for everybody, but everyone's doing something, which is really cool.
Well, thank
really
you.
Cool.
Thank you so much for what you're doing. Thank you for sitting down and chatting to us.
Thank you for coming
Not
to
at all.
chat.
Not at all.
Really
Thank you
cool.
for listening. Thank you so much for watching, and get yourself down here this weekend and do what you can for Bondi.
Yes,
Gives
please.
back.
Yeah, come on down.
Thank you.
Come on down.